AAR Introduction Series, Episode 1. What if money is trying to do too many things? Purpose. This video is not intended to convince people that AAR is correct. It is intended to introduce the core question behind AAR and invite discussion, criticism, and collaborative thinking. 1. Opening question. What if many of the problems we see in modern economies are not caused by bad politicians, greedy corporations, or incompetent central banks? What if the problem is much deeper than that? What if the problem is structural? What if we are using a single system to represent things that are fundamentally different? Inflation, environmental degradation, wealth concentration, debt dependency. At first glance, these seem like separate problems, but what if they are symptoms of the same design flaw? 2. The hidden assumption. Today, the same dollar, euro, or pound is expected to do many different jobs at the same time. It measures labor. It measures consumption. It measures savings. It measures natural resources. It measures investment. It even measures future obligations. One system, one unit, many different purposes, and yet we rarely stop to ask whether those things should be measured together in the first place. 3. A thought experiment. Imagine trying to measure temperature, weight, and distance with the same instrument. It sounds absurd, not because the instrument is bad, but because the things being measured are fundamentally different. Now consider the economy, human productivity, quality of life, natural ecosystems. Are these really the same thing, or have we simply become accustomed to treating them as if they were? 4. The core idea behind AAR. This question led to a concept called AAR, Activity, Life, Planet. AAR begins with a simple hypothesis. Perhaps the economy becomes easier to understand when these three forms of value are treated separately, not because we know this works, not because the model is complete, but because the question may be worth exploring. 5. Activity. The first domain is activity. This is the domain of production, work, entrepreneurship, innovation, manufacturing, services, everything that creates new economic value. In the AAR concept, activity is where value is created. The idea is straightforward. If productive behavior creates value for society, should production itself be the primary thing we tax? Or should we think differently about where taxation occurs? 6. Life. The second domain is life. Life represents where economic value becomes human experience, housing, food, healthcare, education, culture, community. The purpose of an economy is not simply to produce. The purpose of an economy is ultimately to improve life. AAR treats that as a separate domain with its own logic and incentives. 7. Planet. The third domain is planet, the natural systems that support everything else. Forests, rivers, biodiversity, water. The ecological foundation upon which all economic activity depends. Today, these systems are often treated as externalities, something outside the balance sheet. AAR asks a different question. What happens when natural capital becomes visible inside the accounting system itself? 8. Connecting the three domains. Of course, separating these domains creates a new challenge. How do they interact? How does productive activity become quality of life? How does resource extraction affect the future? How can regeneration be measured? The AAR proposal introduces a concept called the energy ledger, not as a currency, not as a cryptocurrency, but as a transparent accounting layer that attempts to track the relationship between activity, life, and planet. 9. The biggest unanswered question. And this is where the discussion becomes truly interesting. Because AAR is not a finished system, one of its most important questions remains unanswered. What exactly is energy? How should it be measured? Who verifies it? Can such a measurement ever be objective? The current white paper openly acknowledges that this remains an active research question, and perhaps it is the most important one of all. 10. Invitation to discuss. So what is AAR? It is not a political movement. It is not an investment opportunity. It is not a finished monetary system. It is a thought experiment, a framework, an invitation to explore whether production, human well-being, and natural capital should remain compressed into a single measurement system, or whether separating them might reveal something we've been missing. I don't know whether AAR works. That's exactly why I'm sharing it. What do you think? What are the flaws? What are the opportunities? And what questions should be investigated next? Let me know in the comments, because the purpose of this project is not to provide answers. The purpose is to start the conversation.